I gonna, okay, I'm 22 years old, I just graduated college, I want to know how soon I'll be a vice president, and exactly what do I have to do to get there. They want to know those things, and they're asking those questions, and they're going and consulting with their parents, and their parents are saying, well, ask for this, they're probably going to lay off in 6 months, so ask this, and this, what happens. They come very prepared, and they know exactly, they have a sense of entitlement. They're entitled to, X, Y, and Z, and they want to know, okay, well, when do I get the company car and this, that, and the other thing? If I can't see the schedule for that, I'm going to think twice about this. So,
Tracy?
I would just echo what's already been said. I think the biggest thing is line of sight. They want line of sight to that next opportunity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 6 months from now, but they need to know that, hey, if I do want to be a vice president in X amount of time, what do I need to do to get there? And they're very intentional about seeking mentors, about getting exposed to different things for that. But I think the biggest opportunity is providing that line of sight to, whether it's through a developmental program that they're hired into and they rotate and they know they're going to get this role at the end of it, whether it's, one of the other things that I think is really important is seeing people like themselves in places where they aspire to be. That's especially important when we start looking at global inclusion and diversity as well.
That's a good segue to this question. And this is asked specifically of you, Tracy, but I'll ask it of all three. What specifically does your company do to recruit and hire minorities and then to retain them?
How much time do we have? The biggest piece of the work, this work around diversity and inclusion was what I was brought to Timken to focus on. And one of the initial reactions is that, hey, we just got to go out and recruit. My response is no. I can line up diverse talent around that building 20 times, but if we don't create a culture of inclusion, that will be a revolving door. So the work that I've been doing in building this strategy has been around how can I enable a cultural transformation? How can I enable systemic change that will provide an environment where diversity of thought is valued, that'll provide an environment where an individual coming from a completely different culture, completely different country can be valued in the workplace and have the same opportunities to develop. So for us, it's focusing first on the environment and making sure that we have that type of environment where individuals, regardless of their dimension of diversity, and my work goes so beyond ethnicity and gender. Those are two of just a ton of different dimensions that we're focusing on when we say global inclusion. That was part of the reason why I asked them to change the title when I joined. I said, I don't want it to be called diversity because I don't want to be centered in a US-centric frame of reference around what this work is. We're in 26 different countries and we have 25,000 employees and we all bring something unique to the table. And I didn't want one particular group to feel alienated from this process. We're all just as equally responsible to help create and maintain that environment. So environment first, then that enables us to attract talent because we know that those factors that diverse talent is looking for will have those things in place.
Susan, to recast this question using Tracy's language, what is Altman doing to recruit and retain people across all kinds of human dimensions?
Sure. That's a great question, and it's, I was telling Tracy earlier that it's an opportunity that we've identified at Altman. And within the past couple of years, we have started, and we still call it a diversity program. But what we started with was education. We felt we needed to create an environment. Moving from one culture to the next doesn't happen overnight. You have to educate the people that are currently working there on the benefits of having a diverse work population. So we started with that, and now we're working into educating all of our staff as well. But creating an awareness, and you're right, you could hire every minority or diverse individual that walks in the door. However, is that the right thing to do? The right thing to do is increase your pool of candidates and make sure that the best suited candidate is selected. And so we've really worked to try and create an awareness within our organization and work on a strategy. There's actually 3 strategies that we've put in place to work on our recruitment, as well as our education and awareness and our communication. Because not only do we have to think about the employee population, but the diverse patient population that we serve. So that's another component that we're working on. So although we're not as far along as the Timken Company, we certainly have recognized it as an opportunity and are working towards it.
Geoff?
Well, I'm going to make you feel pretty good because, you know, at the size of business that we are, our pool of potential employees, our workforce pool is tiny to begin with. So at this point, you know, we're a small company. We're a total of 31 or 32 people. We're just now putting a recruiting at all infrastructure in place. So in terms of strategic plans, our plans at this point are anybody who has the talent and integrity that we're looking for. You know, we're starving for people, so we are not at that point yet where we have specific strategies for those kinds of things, simply I think because of the size and age of our business.
Here's another one to put you on the spot. In this day and age of layoffs, downsizing, et cetera, what type of loyalty can employees hope to have from employers? Well, how about we start with you, Tracy?
Okay. Yeah, that is an interesting question. Oftentimes when we talk about loyalty, we're always focusing that towards the employee. How loyal are they? Are they going to stay with the company? But that's a very, very good point in terms of employer loyalty. And I think the opportunity that we have, especially I'll relate it specifically to Timken, we're definitely, contrary to some belief, we're in growth mode. We are growing. Not all the growth is necessarily right here, but we're certainly growing globally as an organization. And as we communicate those plans and as we articulate and cascade our strategic objectives, our growth aspirations to our associates, that showcases the commitment that we have to our associates, because we recognize that we can't get where we say we're going without the people that we currently have in place and without this huge gap of people that we're going to need to go out and attract. So for us, it's about communicating where we're moving towards, communicating our strategy, understanding our growth aspirations, and that in turn showcases our organizational loyalty, because we need them. And there's no way that we're going to be able to do all the things that we say we're going to do over the next few years without our current pool and without injecting some additional talent in our organization as well.
Geoff?
Coming from the small business standpoint, everybody that we hire is sharing in risk with me, so to speak. This is how I view it, at least. So to be an effective leader for them, I need to put their interest above mine. So the way we've operated from the day we started this company is the last thing to go would be employees. We've been very blessed, and we've never had to face that reality of a slowdown in business to the degree that we had to make those kinds of decisions. And who knows if it's in our future or not. There's no way to know that. But I think that's one of the benefits of being a small business and being in control, is you can have that kind of commitment to your people, to your employees, people that share that risk with you. You owe it to them that they're not going to be the first thing to go to make the bottom line look a little bit better. We'll struggle through it if we hit those times, and that's a personal commitment that I make, but it's a little different. Being in a small business environment, I have the ability to do that. In a big corporation, that's not really an option. I don't have shareholders and people to answer to other than my family first and the people that work with me every day second. So I do think that is a benefit of being in a small business setting.
Susan?
That's a tough question to answer, because you can never say never, but Altman's been very fortunate and has never had to lay off. We've continued to grow, at least over the past 18 years since I've been there, and it looks like it will continue to grow as we have more patients and the aging population. They are going to need us, but it doesn't. You still can, like I said, never say never, and we would never go out and promise anybody that we would never lay off. But